Okay, so let's start. So what I want to talk about, as you saw in the sources, is Mechirat Chametz. So Mechirat Chametz is something that's very nahug. Not only is it nahug now, it's been nahug for quite a few years already, as we'll see already from the sources. But what I want to show this shiur is, first of all, talk about...
Wait, I'm sorry, I can't find the Daf Mekorot.
I sent it on the chat.
On the chat? Thank you.
Yeah, see Google Docs?
And Google Drive. Is it Google Docs?
I sent the link. You see?
Wait.
See the link? It's in the chat.
Of the Zoom.
Yeah, it's in the Zoom chat, Zoom group chat. Right there you have the docs. You find it?
I see Dropbox, Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, your computer. So, 1 sec.
I'll WhatsApp it to you, just a sec.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No problem. Can I share it? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sending the sources. I'm sending it to you in WhatsApp, Gav, and I'm sending also, I'll send it again in the chat, the link for the sources. There you go. You got it?
Yes.
Okay, so
Mechirat Chametz.
Okay, so Mechirat Chametz is something, as I mentioned, it's something that everyone does, but it's something it's very nahug to do. On the one hand, the other to have to see the halachic yesodot of it. And together with doing it, everyone seems to feel like it's a little bit of trickery, meaning it's like ki'ilu we sell our chametz, but do we really sell our chametz? And how do we sell our chametz? And by signing up on the internet, can I really sell something? How does that work? So I want to show the halachic, the process, which we'll see, which is much an evolution of Mechirat Chametz. We'll see how it changed over the years. Actually became more and more problematic. And from that, we'll talk about Bichlal, the idea of doing Mechirat Chametz. Haim ze davar raui, haim ze lo davar raui, haim ze mat'im, as far as halacha, to like sort of do this trickery with this whole process. So, in order to understand Mechirat Chametz, to understand what the problem with Chametz is. So, Chametz is special with the fact that there's not just an isur of achilat Chametz, there's also an isur of bali re'eh uval imatzeh. What's the explanation about bali re'eh uval imatzeh? So, a simple explanation is the reason we tell you to get rid of everything is because we're afraid that if you don't get rid of it, then you're going to end up eating it. So, bali re'eh uval imatzeh, because you're used to eating chametz the entire year, then we assume that you're going to eat the chametz now as well. So therefore, don't have it near you. Now, the essence of bali re'eh uval imatzeh is ownership, meaning you cannot own chametz. So if you're machlokot, what exactly you're allowed to own, when you're not allowed to own, that's the beginning of the sources. Don't want to get into that discussion too much. Just wanted to see there is a discussion. When exactly you chayav for bali re'eh, when exactly you chayav for bali matzeh. But shitat Rambam b'kacha, bemet, the mainstream is that once you own chametz, you have trouble. So, if the entire idea of a problem with chametz and bali re'eh or bali matzeh is owning it, there's a way to get around it, and the way to get around it is to sell. To get rid of the chametz, meaning, no, I don't own it. It may be in my house, but it doesn't belong to me, because the halacha is, the problem isn't to see chametz. If it was to see chametz, then hey, I can still see it, it's in my house. The problem is owning chametz. And therefore, because...
יש לי שאלה, אבל לפי מקרא הדין מהתורה, אפשר, כאילו, אפשר, you can own it, you can have it. זה גזירה חכמים, לא?
לא. ככה חכמים מפרשים את מה שהתורה אומרת, בלי ראה ובלי מצא. התורה אומרת, לא יראה לך חמץ ולא ימצא לך חמץ. So, בפשט אפשר היה להבין, you're not allowed to see חמץ, regardless of who owns it, but הגמרא לומדת שבלי ראה ובלי מצא, תורי חז"ל say, explain the din of the Torah, and because the din deoraita, the way they explain the בלי ראה ובלי מצא doesn't have anything to do with only with viewing it, but bali re'eh uval imatzeh to do with ownership. You're not allowed to own your chametz. And because you're not allowed to own your chametz, therefore, if you sell it to a boy, lichora, problem solved. Once I sold it to him, then I don't own it anymore. Once I don't own it anymore, ani lo rever al bali re'eh uval imatzeh. So, this idea, we didn't make it up, and that's what I wanted to show. If you look at the source sheet where it says beit, hishtalshelut historit, if you look there, you'll see that it starts already in the Tosefta, much in the date of the Tanaim. The interesting thing is to notice the situation that Tanaim are talking about. Israel vegoy shayu ba'in besfina. They're both on a ship. Vechametz beyad Israel. הרי זה מוכרו לנוכרי ונותנו במתנה. You can either sell it or לתת במתנה. וחוזר ולוקח ממנו לאחר הפסח. And then you go ahead and buy it again. אבל לכאורה, that's this trickery. התוספתא says, ובלבד שיתנו לו במתנה גמורה. Meaning you have to make sure you say, באמת במתנה גמורה. I give it to you completely. And more than that, the Tosefta continues, רשאי ישראל, רשאי משום מותר לישראל, שיאמר לנוכרי, עד שאתה לוקח במנה, כך ב-200, שמא יצטרך ובוא נמכר בך אחר הפסח. Meaning, you can even make it worth his while. Meaning, you can say, I'll give it to you במבצע, instead of buying for מנה, כך ב-200. I'll give you twice as much, meaning I'll give you half price, because I might end up buying from you. Now notice it says here, Shema יצטרך ואבוא ויקח ממך אחר הפסח. I mean, you can't make it ממש המכירה and say, I'm going to buy it for you אחר הפסח.
So,
say Shema.
can I ask a question? So why don't we just rent it? Because essentially what we're doing here is that we're renting it without renting it, because like we're giving to him for a week, but we're expecting him not to eat it and to sell it again to us, even though we don't say it.
Because if you mamash rent it, then you get still considered an owner. If I own something, if I own an apartment and I'm renting it out, I'm still considered the landlord. It's still considered mine. And if it's
אבל במקרה של הבית, אתה לא צריך לעשות בדיקת חמץ בבית של כאילו, you don't have to check the house that you rented, because it's considered...
נכון, אבל זה דין בבדיקת חמץ. בדיקת חמץ זה חובה דרבנן של עשרים חובות. אבל נשון, בא לי ראה ובא לי מצא, אתה עובר, גם אם זה שלך, even if you rented it out, that's a different problem. יש מחלוקת בעצם מתי האחריות עוברת לסוחר, but that's a responsibility to do בדיקת חמץ. You're talking about בא לי ראה ובא לי מצא, it's not exactly the same. It's an interesting analogy.
רגע, אז כן, אם יש לי בית ויש גוי שגר שם, זה בעיה כאילו?
No, because the goy owns the chametz. But what if it's your chametz? If it's your chametz and you rent out your chametz, then that's not considered selling. That's schirut, and schirut isn't exactly selling.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so you still consider to have ownership. Once you have ownership, that causes the problem. You have to make sure that you don't own the chametz. So, what exactly is the situation here? So notice, Israel v'goy shehu me'alchin ba'in basfina. That's what the Tosefta starts by saying. First of all, we're talking about a very special situation, that they're both on a ship. Other than the ship, make sure you have to tell them the matana gmura. And the third thing is that you can't say I'm going to buy it right away after. You have to say Shema tzech v'avo v'ikach mincha achar Pessach. These are three chumrot which are not exactly noheg today. It's not exactly only in a special situation. Ki'ilu b'matana gmura v'ikach mincha achar Pessach. We know we're buying it back. But that's to notice the difference. Now Rabbeinu Manoach explains the difference. Rabbeinu Manoach Minervona from the 13th century writes, what are we talking about here? We're talking about someone going on a sfina erev Pesach. Now we know that going on a sfina takes a while. Meaning that Israel has a problem. He wants to take food with him because he's going for a long time. On the other hand, he can't take chametz with him because of Pesach. So what does he do? Which means we're talking about a very specific situation in which the Tosefta says he can do mechirat chametz. The Tosefta says we're talking about a case where someone's going on a ship, he can't have food, he can't reach food, he can't have any chametz with him. And therefore, in order to solve that problem, someone can go on a ship, you can sell your chametz. But what I wanted to show from Rabbeinu Manoach here is he notices that the Tosefta is talking about something very, very specific. The Tosefta is talking about a case, only in this specific case, Bagoy, Israel, שרוצים להפליג בספינה, only there are you allowed to do mechirat chametz. But לכאורה, in a regular case where I'm sitting in my house, you can't sell your chametz. What do you have to do with your chametz? Either eat it or get rid of it before. But selling it is only in this specific case. That's what Rabbeinu Manoach says. Now I want to jump a few hundred years later, a few hundred years after the Gemara to the Ritva. The Ritva writes, וכל שזכו בו הגויים קודם זמן איסורו, ודאי מותר הוא לאחר הפסח כחמץ של נוכרי. Meaning, if the goyim got it before the זמן איסורו, it ממש מותר. And he brings the Tosefta, ורח איתה בתוספתא, ושם אמרו שרשאי לומר לגוי עד שאתה לוקח ב100 כך ו200 שמא יצלח ממכך ממך לאחר הפסח. But notice the words which I made in bold, ובלבד שלא יערים. Meaning you can't make it trickery. Why? Because it has to do with ownership. The goy really has to own it. And if the goy doesn't really own the chametz, then you're in trouble. So that, in fact, in order for the goy to mamash own, it has to be בלבד שלא יערים. אבל, אומר הריטב"א, אם...
מה זה בלבד שלא יערים?
בלבד שלא, don't make it trickery. הערמה means like you make it a trick. Like for instance, notice the next line. אבל אם הערים, meaning you do it באמת בעורמה, yeah, I'm selling it to you, but you're not really selling it, you're not planning on selling it, והוא רגיל לעשות כן בכל שני למכור לגוי קודם הפסח, וליטול לאחר הפסח, and every year you sell your chametz, and you take it right after פסח, הריטב"א אומר דבר מדהים, כנסינן לי, כונסים אותו, והוא אסור לו ולכל ישראל לאחר הפסח. Because that's not really selling. Rather, what is that? It's as if it's chametz של ישראל שמופקד ברשות גוי. It's כאילו mine, but I gave it to the goy, it's in the goy's hands. But it's not really mine, not really belong to the goy. And therefore, Ritva, if you do this trickery, if you כאילו sell it, but don't really sell it, קונסים אותך באסור, it's chametz שעבר עליו הפסח. זה מה שאומר הריטב"א כדבר מדהים. Which means again we see in the Gemara, in the Tosefta, ברבנו מנוח ובריטב"א, בתקופת הראשונים, selling חמץ, you have to really sell it. באמת למכור את החמץ מחירה גמורה. And maybe you'll buy it back, maybe you won't. But if you don't do מחירה גמורה, זה לא נחשב.
אבל זה היה גם שונה, כי בתקופה שלהם לא היה מלא אוכל שאפשר לשמור מלא זמן. היום רוב האוכל אפשר לשמור תקופות ארוכות יותר.
נכון? And now we'll notice about why the changes happened, but I just want to start with the change and explain מה נפקא מינה גם לימינו. So, for me, we see also לכאורה, when we talk about selling means that if I take the stuff, I give it to the goy, נכון? In case in the Mishnah, in the Tosefta, the Israel בגוי שיהיו בהם בספינה, so they're all on the same ship. But if I sell something to someone, the first and most important thing about me selling something is that it moves to your possession. If it's in your possession, it's now by you. Which means, when I sell something, if I'm selling my chametz, my pasta has to be in the goy's house. That's the most essential thing of selling. If I sell my phone, it means I give you my phone. That I sell something, but keep it for myself. לכן, לכאורה, until now we're talking about, every time we mention the mechira includes me taking my things and giving them to the goy. Taking out my thing out of my house and giving it to the goy. That pshat shel mechira. Otherwise, זה הערמה. זה מה שראינו עד עכשיו. But if you jump a few hundred years forward to the 16th century, לבח, רבנו יואל סירקיש from Krakow, he writes the following. כתוב בתרומת הדשן, ראוי להורות לתת לגוי מחוץ לבית. תרומת הדשן כותב במפורש, ראוי להורות לתת לגוי מחוץ לבית, meaning give the חמץ outside of the house. משמע שצריך שהחמץ עצמו יהיה חוץ לבית. וכן כתב במעריל, שלא יהיה ישראל כמו נפקד בחמץ מן הגוי. The Maharil also writes, don't leave the chametz in your house, because if you leave it in your house, it seems to be that you still have some connection to it. בית יוסף בשולחן ערוך כתב, במחרון תנו לגוי שמחוץ לבית קודם הפסח. also בבית יוסף בשולחן ערוך כותב שצריך לתת לזה לגוי מחוץ לבית. אבל אז כותב הבח, we have a problem, ובמדינה זו שרוב, meaning פולין, שרוב משא ומתן הוא ביין שרף, what we call yash, meaning whiskey, which is complete chametz, and that's our משא ומתן, that's what we sell, that's our business, ואי אפשר להם למוכרם לגוי מחוץ לבית, we can't give it to the goy outside the house, because we're talking about huge barrels, and also we're talking about a big risk. בפרט למחזיקים באורדנה, יש להתיר בעניין זה שימכור לגוי כל החמץ שבחדר, וגם החדר עצמו ימכור לגוי. Meaning the Bach writes, okay, if you can't take it out of the house, then what should you do? You should sell the chametz, but sell the room as well. ואז כאילו הוצאת מהבית. But notice here, it's different than what we saw in the ריטב"א. This is much closer to הערמה. עד עכשיו ראינו בריטב"א, that you have to ממש sell it, ואסור לעשות את זה כמו הערמה, has to be something significant. It ממש seems to be a formal, lawful, כמו שצריך a sale. But according to the Bach, here we're moving to a different stage. I can't take it out of my house. If I can't take it out of my house, then how can I sell it? So what did he say? He said, you should sell the house as well. Meaning, the room that he's in, you should sell as well. Problem is that a goy has problems buying karka. And once we said that the goy has to buy something, we have to talk about kinyanim, which the goy can do. That we'll talk about later on in just a minute. But the Bach says, because we got into the whole discussion about a goy buy karka, then he stands and explains how to do it. But בכל מקרה, we see here that even the Bach, שכבר התחיל להקל, and the Bach says that not only do you have to sell it, take it out of your house, but you can also keep it in your house, but even he agrees that the sale has to be כמו שצריך עם כל דרכי הקניין, meaning you have to ממש sell the room. ככה זה נראה. But if you skip another few hundred years forward, לימי השואל ומשיב, and now we're talking about the 19th century already, he brings down our minhag today. And our minhag today is the following. והנה בערב שבת קודש מצורע, ו' ניסן תרט"ז, 150 years ago, הגיענו תשובה מעלת קודשו זבריב, מהרב הגדול, אבא בית דין וכולי, בעניין מכירת חמץ, אשר רואה מקודם שהיה שם הגאון, הורינו אברהם תאומים, וכעת אבא בית דין קודש בוצ'ש, וכן השתרשה המנהג, the third line, למכור על ידי שליח כל החמץ שיש לסוחרי העיר והמוזגין, ופרפיתנין ובני הכפרים. What you do is, you have one shaliach. Everyone goes to that shaliach, and they tell him, sell my chametz. והנהיג הרב לכתוב הרשאה על שם השליח, בחתימת יד בני העיר והכפרים, meaning we give him ההרשאה. הרשאה means they give him permission to use my things. כאילו, I say, my chametz, I'm giving the shaliach the permission. והשליח מוכר לגוי אחד בשטר אחד, וחותם עצמו בשטר המכירה בחתימת ידו לבד. Meaning what happens here is what we have today. The shaliach, which today is usually the rabbi of the kehillah, we all give the rabbi of the kehillah permission, and he goes and sells chametz. He said the problem here is it looks less and less honest.
מאיפה הוא מוציא את זה? כי עד עכשיו זה גם דבר אחר ש...
הוא מתאר מנהג פה, צריך לשים לב. He's not saying what they should do, הוא מתאר את המנהג. That's what they said. They said that's how they sell chametz.
אבל המנהג מבוסס, כי גם פה, חוץ מזה שלא מדברים איפה שמים את החמץ, המנהג הזה, זה לא, כאילו, זה לא מכירה באמת, כי מי באמת עושה את זה עם דברים אחרים שנותן לשליח?
That's what we'll get to in just a second. That's a good question. But what I want you to notice here, the three stages of mamash we saw. We have the sfina, which was b'shat adchak. We have the ritva that said that asur la'asot ta'arama kol shana. Then we had the bach that said, okay, you can keep it in your house if you sell the house. And here we have the next stage. The next stage is people selling, writing down to the shaliach. And the last stage, which has been the last few years, people don't even sign anything. All they do is they go online, they write where their chametz is, v'shalom al Yisrael. So as he said, the mechira seems to be less and less honest. So we have two problems. We have to talk about A, the ma'aseh kinyan, the formal kinyan. How is a kinyan done? And after we discuss the formal kinyan, we have to talk about the whole idea of the honesty here. So as far as formal kinyan, I brought in the Mishnah Brura, and he talks about the kinyanim. So here he talks a lot about dinei kinyan. You start to eze kinyanim koneh ha'akum. What kinyanim does a goy buy? We know the different kinds of kinyanim. There's mechira, there's meshicha, there's hagbaa, there's kinyan kesef. What does a goy buy? And what kinyan can a goy acquire? So we see here, Mishnah Berurah writes, yesh baze deot ben haposkim, yesh mi sheomer de kinyano shel akum bekesef davka, meaning a goy can only buy with money. Once he gives you money, that's the only way. But there's an opposite opinion. יש אומרים שאין אקום קונה אלא במשיכה לרשותו או בהגבהה, דבר שאפשר להגביה. Meaning there's an opposite opinion that a goy has to ממש do משיכה or הגבהה. Now obviously the משיכה and the הגבהה cause a problem because we keep our chametz in our house when we sell it. So doing משיכה or הגבהה would be very problematic. But there's opinions that's the only way a goy can buy. Goy can only do physical kinyanim. But there's a third opinion. ויש שכתבו עוד גם שערי קניינים נוהגים באקום. Meaning all kinyanim work in akum, kegon, kniyat mitaltilin agav karka, meaning you can sell land, a piece of land, and sell lots of stuff with the land, what's called kinyan agav, the kinyan chatzer, the kinyan chalifim, which is the kinyan which we know, the ainu kinyan sudar, which is when you give the hanky and you pull the hanky, that's a kinyan sudar. It's kind of an ancient signature. It's a way of a mashav, lehitchayev, to say that I'm really going to buy. That's in the din of kinyan. That's all the different things. So that's what. So we have three opinions. One says only kesef, one says only meshicha, and one says goyed can do everything. But Mishnah Berurah skip a few lines. ויש מפקפקים בקניינים אלו. אומרים זה לא מתנו קניינים אלו רק בישראל. But some say no, you can only do this קניינים רק אל ישראל. So what do we do? So the Mishnah Berurah writes ולעניין דינה בכתחילה בוודאי צריך להקנות בקניין גמור מוסכם בכולי עלמא. You should do ידי חובת כל הדעות. We're talking about an isur deoraita here. If you don't sell your chametz properly, you over an isur deoraita bali reu bali matzeh, and therefore tzarich letzet yedei chovat kol hadeot. How can you do that? De'ainu bekesef u'meshicha beyachad. Meaning you have to do also kesef and also meshicha beze oved. אבל בדיעבד, let's skip the line, אף אם לא מכר אלא בכסף לבד, או שמכר באחד משערי קניינים שהזכרנו ועבר עליו פסח, מותר. Meaning, למעשה, you may have over על בל יראה ובל ימצא if you didn't do all these קניינים, if you're just סומך on one of the שיטות, but as far as חמץ שעבר עליו הפסח זה מותר. כי חמץ שעבר עליו הפסח זה רק איסור דרבנן, ולכן באיסור דרבנן בספק אפשר להקל. And therefore, if you did one of these קניינים, not all of them, you did only קניין כסף, you did only קניין משיכה, אז למעשה אולי עברת על בל יראה ובל ימצא, אבל לדינה, you can use the חמץ, because חמץ שעבר עליו הפסח זה רק איסור דרבנן. Now, the problem is that today, we can't do meshicha, because everyone sells their chametz inside their house. Only thing you can do is kesef. So skip to the next paragraph in the Mishnah Berurah. This problem was already by them. כתבו האחרונים, דאף על גב דלכתחילה יש למכור בכסף ובמשיכה, מכל מקום אם החמץ מרובה ואי אפשר למשוך החמץ כולו, וכן אם אין החמץ כאן שיכול לעקום למשכו לו בעיר אחרת או בדרך, if for some reason he can't do משיכה, יש לו להקנותו לנוכרי בשאר קניינים, meaning any קניין, כגון על ידי רושם שנהגו בקצת מקומות, שהלוקח רושם על דבר הנקנה כדי שיהיה לו סימן ידוע, או על ידי תקיעת כף, meaning just a handshake, meaning any kinyan that works. This is based on an idea that we find in Choshen Mishpat, that how can you do kinyanim? Kinyanim are the way that people do kinyan. How does someone buy something? How does someone acquire something today? We're used to the fact, if I pay it with my credit card, I'm in the supermarket. When I get to the supermarket, when I get to the cashier, when does it become mine? Once I pass the cash, or once I swipe the credit card. That's when it becomes mine. Now, because that's the way we hold it, that's what's called kinyan situmta. Kinyan situmta means you buy it the way that people buy. And that works mideoraita, as we see here. So in this case, we have to be sumech on that kinyan, and the goy has to do kinyanim. I'm assuming, lemaisi, I'm not sure exactly how they do it. I'm assuming they do also with the handkerchief, kinyan sudar, and they do also with money, and they do also credit cards, whatever it takes to try and do as many kinyanim. But again, what I wanted to notice is this problem only started in the time of the Achronim. Because until the time of the Achronim, when you sold your chametz, you took it out of your house, you gave it to the goy, and then the goy bought it, gave you money for it, it was mamash a sale. Once we move to this fictive sale, the fact that we don't really sell it, that we actually keep it in our house, that's what caused all the problems. Once you don't keep it in your house, once you really sell it, ain't the shum b'aya. But when you do what we do, which we keep the chametz in our house and we sell, therefore it becomes more of a problem. So,
יש לי שאלה. Let's say like you have a house in a different place. It's like a lot of people have like a house in, I don't know, in mountains, and then they have chametz there. It's not possible to go there to just sell chametz. So how do you do?
Okay,
you have to do like that.
They're not to leave chametz. That's first of all. Second of all, אפשר לבטל את החמץ. לבטל, meaning I'm doing ביטול, or you could send a shaliach, the third thing, אבל גם לבטל את החמץ. meaning מה זה ביטול חמץ? להגיד שמבחינתי הוא אפרא דארעא, מבחינתי it's nothing, and therefore you can use it now. I mean, you can't use it. You have to, once you get there in the summer, then you throw it in the garbage, because you yourself said it's אפרא דארעא ובעייתי לחזור ולזכות פה. But you can do ביטול חמץ. זה גם אפשרי.
לא, אבל נגיד, עכשיו בישיבה?
afterwards. מכירת חמץ, you can use it. אבל ביטול is more of a problem. ביטול, כאילו, you just get rid of it.
Just get rid of it. But let's say people left yeshiva without knowing they wouldn't go back to the yeshiva, and they have chametz there. עכשיו זה מסודר במקום.
Okay. So that brings us to again the question of the following. So we see, מכירת חמץ בעצם, במקורות שלו, we saw it was for shatadchak. We saw it was for someone going on a ship and he wouldn't have food, wouldn't have where to buy food. Afterwards, we saw in the Bach that the next kula was made because of the socharim, because they had whiskey, because they had yash. And then we saw some Shoel Meshiv, the most people who were selling were socharim, mozgim, all had to do with business. Which means the poskim themselves knew that mechirat chametz was a problem. But they had to make it mutar in cases of hefsed merubeh, meaning it was a kula. And it became more and more of a kula over the years as the mechirah became more and more not serious, we'll call it. That's what mechirat chametz became. But it was always in cases of hefsed merubeh. It was always for socharim. It was always for people who would lose a lot of money if they sold it. But if we're talking about a regular person, a person who has in his house, question is, what are we talking about? What do you actually have in your house that you're selling? If you're selling a package of pasta, that package of pasta today costs 2 shekels. If you have a bottle of whiskey, יש יותר מקום לדון בזה. What kind of bottle of whiskey is it? How much does it really cost? How much is it a standard for you? For instance, when I had a bottle of whiskey that I got for my birthday, what was left of it, I gave, was about half a bottle left, a third of a bottle left, I gave it for the Tanit Bechorot. I didn't pay for it. It wasn't said merubeh. Wasn't critical for me to be in the house. Therefore, en siba lismoch al mechirat chametz. Bishmin mechirat chametz, we saw, because it became more and more of a problem, because it became more and more of a not formal mechira, but rather what seems to be a bit of fictive mechira, because of that, then there's even more room to be machmir. To be machmir and to say that we're going to sell the chametz only when we really have to sell the chametz. We're going to sell the chametz only when it's mamash necessary. זה מה שגם הרב רבינוביץ' אמר לנו. הרב רבינוביץ' used to have שיעורים בהלכות חמץ ומצה before Pesach, and he told us that mechirat chametz should only be done for people with hefsed merubeh. There's absolutely no reason for bachurei yeshiva, as he mentioned before, to sell their chametz. So nachon, if someone now with the whole pandemic had to leave yeshiva early and he left all his chametz, so he won't have a few of his chocolates. He won't have a few of that. Ze lo nora. Which means if you talk about a regular person, if you calculate correctly and you time it, you shouldn't get to a situation where you have to sell chametz. You shouldn't get to a situation where you have too much food. If you do have too much food, if we're talking about cakes, כמה כסף מדובר פה? מדובר ב-50 שקל, ב-100 שקל, לבן אדם ממוצע זה לא נחשב הפסד מרובה אתניק. בן אדם ממוצע, if that's the loss that we're talking about, אין סיבה למכור את החמץ הזה. Now, if it's something that you have, just one second, if you have something you have ספק if it's חמץ or not. That's your ספק. You're not sure if it has chametz or not. Find out. Ask people who know. Today with Google, you can find out everything. If it has chametz, get rid of it. If it doesn't have chametz, don't get rid of it. Meaning, today, with all the knowledge that we have, there's really no reason not to. You can look in the ingredients. If it says may contain wheat, אז אין סיבה להניח שיש בזה משהו, and it's fine. Don't eat it on Pesach. But on the other hand, you don't have to sell it. But if it's something that does contain wheat, then get rid of it. Today, I think, especially with Google, we have so many solutions to know what's going on inside your food. אין סיבה להגיע למכירת חמץ, unless we're talking about הפסדים מרובים. Again, if you get to הפסד מרובה, we're talking about someone who has blue label, Johnny Walker, then אני חושב כולם יכולים להודות שיש פה נקודה של הפסד מרובה. But if you're having a 100, 150, 200 shekel bottle of whiskey, לרוב האנשים, אני לא יודע כמה נחשב הפסד מרובה. ברור שיש אנשים שכן, אבל לרוב האנשים אני חושב שזה לא נחשב הפסד מרובה. Yeah.
This year, like, I heard that יש שיתור כאילו להשאיר פסטה בבית בגלל המצב.
יפה. So באמת, this year, ודאי שזה יכול לחשב הפסד מרובה. This year we're getting to a situation which we're not familiar with. Until now what I mentioned was a regular year. This year באמת, there's more room to be מקל with מכירת חמץ, כי באמת נצרך. באמת, what's necessary right now is to be מקל because there might be a shortage of food. And therefore, don't run to throw out the food. In a regular year, pasta is not הפסד מרובה. This year, pasta could be more of a problem because pasta means you don't have to go out of the house. Going out of the house is a problem, and therefore, don't rush to...
Wait, so...
באמת, this is נכון. that's what the poskim already said. פוסקים לפניי אמרו, יש הרבה יותר מקום להקל במכירת חמץ עם חמץ גמור. השנה.
שנייה, רציתי לשאול, אז הפסד מרובה זה לא רק כלכלי, זה גם יכול להיות לבריאות, כאילו.
ברור. if הפסד כלכלי, כלכלי is considered הפסד מרובה, קל וחומר שבריאות, meaning health is so much more important, ברור that if we're worried about people, then. So, Toby said, נכון, the issue is dangerous to shop. Right after Pesach, there will be a lot of people shopping. נכון, and therefore, there's more room to be מקל, למכור חמץ גמור דווקא this year. That I think would be considered הפסד מרובה. Again, it also depends on the time, depends maybe on the הערכות. Have to find out what's going on. Maybe it would be different between place and place. אבל הנה חינם, if we're talking about באמת a place to become dangerous to buy, זה ודאי יכול לחשב הפסד מרובה, ויש מקום לסמוך על המכירה. Another important thing with the מכירה is you have to take it seriously. Meaning, if you don't take it seriously, it's not really a mechira. If you sell the chametz tzvalu inside your dishes, no one will want to buy that. So you're making the whole mechira a problem because you're making it not serious. Or if someone writes, for instance, I got asked about campuses. Do I have to write the specific number of my apartment in the campus? Do I have to write what room I'm in, or just write Yshivat מעלה אדומים? ברור שצריך לכתוב את החדר. Because if a goy comes לישיבת מעלה אדומים, where's the food? It's huge. Right where it is, meaning you have to take the mechira seriously, as serious as possible. Because if you don't take the mechira seriously, then obviously, that it's not considered a real mechira. We're talking about mamash a halachic. We're talking about a mechira. It has to be halachically valid. It has to be honest. You have to really be selling something. If you're just writing it down b'keilu, you're not really selling it. That's הופך להיות שוב בעיה. And they said also with the chametz that's inside the dishes, people who do that causes the problem because no one in their right mind would acquire that. No one in their right mind would buy that. And therefore, it turns the whole mechira into something problematic because the mechira includes something you're not really selling, so it all looks like a joke, and it causes mamash a halachic problem, I think. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was I mentioned before, this whole idea of tricking halacha. I don't really own the chametz, I'm selling it. When is it legal, when is it not legal? So it's very interesting ma'amar that I read by Rav Moshe Lichtenstein, which I recommend to look for on Google. It's called Ha'arama Ba'halacha. And he goes through different cases of Ha'arama that we find in Ma'asot. There's different kind of things. Also in the Encyclopedia Talmudit, there's an entire erech of Ha'arama, which is there to see. And his point is a very interesting point. His point is you have to look and see what the goal of the mitzvah is. The goal of the mitzvah is not achieved in the classic way, then there's room to do Ha'arama. For instance, today, Ilchot Chala. Essentially, you're not meant to take Isa that's almost chayevet b'chala and make a little less. Because if you're going to make it, then make it kmo shetzarich. But today, when we don't really give the chala to a goy, en kaze inyan to a kohen, if you don't give the chala to a kohen, en inyan to go and to make a chala to make a isa the right size. There's no reason to make enough dough to make chala because we're not giving it to a kohen anyway. So I'm tricking halacha, and instead of making the amount that's necessary, 43 kabim, melo omer, Machloket Poskim, how much exactly that is. Instead of making that, I'll make a little less. So usually it's כאילו tricking the lo beseder. But here, I'm looking at the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that I'm not giving the chalat ha-kohen anyway. And chiyu chala b'yamenu d'Rabbanan. But if I'm looking at the bigger picture, as I'm not going against the mitzvah. Now, it's difficult to tell. It takes a lot of knowledge, and you have to ask the Talmidei Chachamim about this, but you have to look at the goal of the mitzvah. That the goal of the mitzvah is to get the chametz away. Bali re'eh uvali mitzvah, to get my personal chametz away. Then selling it lichora, you're not gaining, you're not doing the goal of the mitzvah. The goal of the mitzvah is to get the chametz out of our house. And if inside my house is full of chametz that I have in my cupboard that just wrote chametz on them, lo be'emet ha'matara. But together with that, the kulot were for people who were selling not chametz that was for their own use. They were selling their business chametz. The whole idea was to get the chametz out of my house. But if I own something, it's not really mine. I'm just using it for business. Bezeh hekelu haposkim. Because again, you have to look at the bigger goal of the mitzvah. Now they said this is difficult. V'lo kol echad yachol la'asot, and therefore it's very asur lehamtzi ha'aramot. But together with that, a good ha'arama would be when I look at the goal of the mitzvah and I try to see if I'm making the goal of the mitzvah or I'm not making the goal of the mitzvah. Am I actually doing it or not doing it? So if here we're selling on a regular, you're selling chametz, I think you're not doing the goal of the mitzvah. The goal of the mitzvah is to get rid of your chametz, לעשות את המעשה הזה. אין בזה בל תשחית. Usually, מה פתאום we throw out good food? בל תשחית. Torah says, לא, תשחית, תבאר, get it out of your house. And you're מקיים the mitzvah by doing that. But this year again is different because this year we're worried about v'chai b'hem much more, and therefore there's much more room to sell chametz this year in order to ensure that you have food in the house. This year. But bichlal, when we talk about ha'aramot b'halacha, ha'arama has to make sure that we don't go around the halacha. I mean, it doesn't make sure that we're not tricking halacha into not mekayem ota. The idea is sometimes that poskim and the rishonim and the Gemara already uses trickery, kol minei ma'arinim al zeh, ma'arinim al zeh, in order to achieve the goal of the mitzvah. Because we figured that in the classic way, we're not achieving the goal. But if we're using ha'arama to get around the mitzvot, that is a much more problematic thing. As the sikum, we spoke about mechirat chametz, we spoke about the different stages that it had. We spoke about the beginning, how we used to be mamash a sale from the Tosefta, we used to give it to the goy. We said in the Ritva that if you do it ha'arama, you do ki'ilu selling, as konsimoto is considered chametz she'abar alav Pessach. And we said one of the symptoms that's ha'arama, if you have to sell every year. But we said the world changed and people began manufacturing food that could last for longer. And we had yash, and Jews started getting into selling whiskey. And therefore there was more room to be makil. The Bach started one of the kulot by saying that you don't have to take it out of your house. He was the one that said the chametz can stay inside your house, but you have to sell the room. That was the Bach. Afterwards, we saw the next stage in the 19th century was the people started selling by one person. Not even me personally selling to a goy, but me giving a halsha'ah, giving permission to one person to sell my chametz, and he goes and does the entire business. From there, we moved on to how does the formal sale with the goy work? What kinyanim does the goy have to do? Because essentially there are some poskim that say that the goy has to do mamash meshicha, has to do a physical kinyan. If he doesn't, then you have a problem. We saw the Mishnah Berurah got around that. And after that, we spoke about mabat le'amenu, about who was mechirat chametz made for. And as we mentioned, this year is bechlet different. This year there's more room to be mekel if necessary in the situation. Someone sees it necessary to sell chametz gamur. חושב שיש הרבה יותר מקום להקל בזה השנה. But in a regular year, we have to make sure that we're not using halachic tools to get around halacha. We're not using ki'ilu mechirat chametz to get around it. You have to look at the poskim, who they allowed it for. The fact that someone was allowed something doesn't mean it was for every single situation. And the note the poskim give, the other poskim all have to do with business. And Sam mentioned, it's not just because in business you lose more money, because in business it's different. It's not my chametz. It's chametz that I'm going to make money off of. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't make a difference if I'm selling whiskey or from selling books. The same thing as far as I'm concerned. It's a product. It's not food. And therefore, when the Torah said, Bali reu, bali matzeh, it didn't mean dafka the products that I'm going to sell. It meant in my house. Ve'ad yesh makom lekayem et ha'alacha by tricking halacha. It's not really trickery. That's what the halacha wants. But if I'm mekayem na halacha by tricking it, if I go and sell my chametz in my own house, it's not what the halacha wanted. The halacha wanted to get rid of it. And if you have something which is safek with chametz, find out if it's chametz or not. In the manufacturing and industrial world, we know what they put inside. It's written on things. If it's not written, you can ask people who work in it. If you cannot people work in it, you can always ask Google to find out if it has chametz or doesn't have chametz. And this is all in a regular year. This year, be'emet, things are different based on everyone in their own situation. How dangerous it would be to go out or to not go out. Yesh הרבה יותר מקום להקל השנה, because again, this is what halacha wants us. Halacha wants us to watch ourselves. שיעשר טעם האדם וחי בהם, and therefore make sure that you watch yourself, יש הרבה יותר מקום להקל בשנה כזאת. So, should we all have a healthy and kasher chag.